On Friday, we almost experienced the quickest Mariners game ever as Luis Castillo and Brandon Walter combined for a flash of 6 innings, and the Mariners evened the tiebreaker with the Houston Astros. Welcome to the Dom Skeen channel, your one-stop shop for the Mariners storylines on Seattle's minds. And the Mariners won 6-1 on Friday night over the Astros, evening the season-long tiebreaker for the season series with them that will determine playoff seeding. It could determine who wins the division if we're tied on a record at the end of the year. Could determine who gets a playoff spot if we're tied in the wild card race. That'll be the tiebreaker at the end of the year. And we even that tiebreaker up tonight, having 2 games to go the rest of this series. Whoever wins this series takes that tiebreaker. And it'll be interesting to see who takes these next 2 games, these next 2 days, because this tiebreaker could remain tied, and then we play the Astros again, or we could take it outright. And if we win these next 2 games, it's going to be tough for the Astros to even come back. But getting into the actual meat of this game, 246 to 156 unexpected batting average, 6-4 you out-hit the Astros, and 6-1 you outscore them, with almost all the runs in this game coming in about the final 20 minutes. It was about a 2-hour, 23-minute game, but no runs scored till the bottom of the 7th, at which point the game had gone on for about an hour and a half. And then you have the Mariners score their second run. Randy gets it started with a 1-run shot in the 4th. This actually could have been a 2-run shot very easily because Julio, after JP ground out, after Cal grounds out, Julio is caught off the bag. He was really feeling himself tonight. He walks early on in his second at-bat, his second plate appearance. He's super hyped. You can see he's like yelling at the dugout, "Let's go," as he's going to first base. And he's feeling himself. He's toying with Brandon Walter, who's on the mound. He is, taking a fat lead, then acting like he's going to steal, and then coming back. He's really toying with Brandon Walter. Then when the ball does get hit, put in play, Julio is caught going to second. All they have to do, throw the ball back to the bag. Julio gets out, which is funny because a few pitches later, if not the very next pitch later, Randy Arozarena absolutely smokes one, middle, puts it in the upper deck of the left field bleachers, and then the game is 1-0 till the 7th inning, where Mitch Garver comes in and hits a homer. Now, with Mitch Garver, you saw his timing get really good before the All-Star break, and we see it continue here. Simply put, when he goes 2 for 4 with a run scored, hits his homer, and he strikes out his other 2 at-bats, you'll take that because his OPS is already up to 682 on the season. It definitely doesn't feel like he's been almost as productive as Julio, but he's less than 50 points of OPS off of Julio, as remarkable as that is for Mitch Garver. And not to say that Julio's had an amazing year either, but with all the power and speed that he has. Garver is walking quite a bit this year. Got to give him some credit where it's due. He didn't walk tonight. But he also, when he's at his best, he is timing his pitches right. And when he's at his best, he will absolutely punish the breaking balls in the zone, which is the weakness of the Mariners lineup, at least through most of the first half of the season. However, when he's not on time, he can go a month without hitting one of those breaking balls and just really look like he is waving at stuff. The swing is similar to Mark Trumbo because it's never pretty. It's an ugly swing that uses timing to punish breaking balls. And you saw it happen here tonight. So if Mitch Garver could just get on that train again, he won the World Series with Texas and was a really big force in that lineup for them doing that. It's great to see here. Then Randy, just red hot, 10 homers since June 30th after only hitting 8 from March 27th through June 30th. They come in bunches for Randy. The bunches keep on coming. Wouldn't expect anything to slow him down at this point. And you're going to keep throwing pitchers out there. Tomorrow it's McCullers, a breaking ball guy. If he throws just a hanging breaking ball in the zone, Randy could see his 11th home run since June 30th. And, I mean, he is quite simply the hottest hitter in baseball, not named Kyle Stowers or Byron Buxton. Got to give Kyle Stowers credit because now he's hit 500 home runs over a 2-game span. He had a double dong again today. Luis Castillo, his line was just pristine. 6.2 innings of shutout ball, only 3 hits allowed, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, 100 pitches, and he was hard hit 6 times. But that ERA is still sitting at 3.21 on the year. And when you look at Luis's night from a StatCast standpoint, it wasn't really that good. 9 swinging strikes and 100 pitches, 91.7 mile an hour average exit velocity. He only threw 6 changeups, didn't get any whiffs on it. 5 whiffs on 52 fastballs, that's not good. 1 on 22 sinkers, that's no good either. And then 3 on 20 sliders. It's really not that many. Plus the contact seemed to be pretty hard. So it's really curious as to how Luis had such a good night. But he looked really loose, especially 4th, 5th inning on. And I think this is just the Luis that plays super well in the heat. We're getting him right now. The velocity looks where it's been the whole year, mostly more like mid-90s than high 90s. But Luis Castillo pitched very well against a lineup that knows how to punish. And there was definitely some holes in the lineup. This Astros lineup is nothing like the ones of years past, but it's not terrible. And Luis Castillo just came out, didn't have his best stuff, and still found a way to put up a great line. So at this point, Luis Castillo is becoming a pitchability expert. He's not just a guy who survives on talent anymore. He has completely evolved from the pitcher that we once saw in Cincinnati, who would live and die by the changeup. And he simply isn't that anymore. Over the course of this year, I've got nothing else to go by except for that. He's destroyed he kind of has thrown that blueprint out. And there's starts where he has the changeup, and those are the ones where I think he's going to be even better. But even on those nights, it's hard to say the line is this good. Forcing Houston to a 156 expected batting average, holding the line at shutout into the 7th inning, and then handing it over to the bullpen with 7 outs to go. We have the contract killer Gabe Spire come in and get an easy out. Then you have Matt Brash come in for the 8th inning, and he does give up a run on it, 1 hit and a walk. He gives up a double that gets the run home to Isaac Paredes. However, and Bryce Matthews got his first career hit today in the big leagues. Welcome to the bigs, kid. Also got his, that might be his first career run scored. Might even be his first career walk. Let's look. First career run scored, first career hit tonight, and his first career walk. He's only grabbed 5 strikeouts before this, but tonight he didn't strike out for the first time. He walked once, and he got his first hit and run as well. So congratulations to the Astros 9-hole hitter, Bryce Matthews. He's supposed to be pretty fast and hits the ball really hard. So those being the 2 biggest indicators of a position player with the talent to exceed expectations. I'm optimistic on Bryce Matthews. Nothing really else huge today. The fact that Julio walked twice, you can get mad at that, what you could call a bonehead play. But when Julio is so feisty, so in the zone, and he's toying with the pitcher that hard, I will take it. There will be 1 or 2 times a season where, he gets picked off. He doesn't make it back to first when he should. He ends up closer to second. Things like that. It's like I love Julio's feel for the game, and I'm not going to restrict that, even if there's a mistake like this that happens once a year, because it's really not that many mistakes. 5 to 10 a year max of Julio getting picked off. Julio's base running mistakes, and I would rather he keep running, keep looking for the steals, keep being aggressive on the base paths, than try to start being really conservative or try to compensate for the mistakes. I'd rather see him stick to his guns in that regard. And Dan sticks to his guns and lets his guys run. Shout out to Dan Wilson. Keeps letting Cal Raleigh run. After MVP's chance, fill the stadium up as Cal Raleigh's up to bat with runners on base. Cal hits a single. As it felt like he was totally feeding off the energy because he gets deep. It's an 0-2 count. Then he gets 3 straight balls. I think he might have fouled a few pitches off in there too. Then the MVP chance ensue again. He hits it down the line foul, and then he basically makes the same contact, but it's in play. Just totally feeding off of it, and then they're never expecting Cal Raleigh to run. So when he does go and steal, and Yano Diaz didn't make a terrible throw either, but Cal Raleigh somehow is getting in there for, is his stolen base number 11 on the season? Yeah, it's stolen base number 11. I mean, quite simply the best season of a catcher, that we've ever seen a catcher have. And the fact that he's running too, like I have this vision that Dan Wilson had everybody kind of try stealing bases, like a tryout almost in spring training. And when he sees that, oh no, the catcher actually is good at it. He's actually one of the better guys that he can do it. And somehow, that worked its way into the game plan for Cal Raleigh to be stealing bases. I'm wondering, I picture Dan Wilson just being like, they're like, well, what, you're going to have your catcher stealing bases? Big dumper, known for being, a stocky kind of guy. And, I'm imagining Dan just going, sure, why not, right? Or like, why wouldn't you? Dan is, because he hasn't been just a bench coach forever and stuff, he doesn't have as much of that coaching experience. He's not stuck in the same ways quite as much. And a lot of this season with Cal Raleigh, you've got to give credit to Dan Wilson as the manager. I just think the fact that he lets him run, because most managers wouldn't have ever let it happen in the first place to see how good he is at doing it. I know I certainly wouldn't have even thought to let Cal Raleigh worry about trying to steal bases. But man, it's just a complete anomaly. And then Cole Young, his approach is excellent, I have to say. I really like Ben Williamson and how feisty he is, but I feel like Cole Young is getting really, really measured. His OPS is up to 663 after he goes 1 for 2 with a run scored, walks, doesn't strike out, and I think Cole Young is a better option than almost any second baseman we could bring in at this point at the deadline. And Ben Williamson, to his credit, is as good as almost any third baseman you could bring in. I think the Ben Williamson for Suarez conversation is not as easy as Suarez is an all-star and Ben Williamson's a young guy. I don't think it's that simple. I'll talk about it more if those talks continue to heat up, but I wouldn't be a huge fan of bringing Suarez back. I don't think he fits the ballpark. I don't think he fits the lineup. I think bringing another guy in with massive strikeout issues just to try to sell out for a little more power while taking out your super, super scrappy hitter that gets the pitch count up every single night, that would worry me. I also worry that since Suarez has been hot already in Arizona, you bring him to Seattle, he might have already had his hot streak this year and not have that hot streak the rest of the year, or not as much. And undoubtedly, Seattle's not going to help him with that. He really does not have great splits in Seattle. Sorry to talk about Ben Williamson, but on the Cole Young topic, his left-handed swing, it feels like he's able to uppercut it and keep it level when he wants to. He's really good at adjusting. And although he has like a sweet left-handed swing without a bunch of lumps in it, he's able to adjust it somehow. And he really has a good eye to pick where he's going to swing, and then he really goes for it. And timing is everything, and his timing looks good right now too. So I would not be surprised if both Cole Young and Bill Williamson hit in the 260s, and then it would be really hard to say, oh, you got to bring in an improvement at second and third, because then it's like, well, you're really not going to get a more logical option than those two, unless you're getting an actual difference maker. in which case, those guys can be part of a trade package or something like that. First base seems like the big place to upgrade. Donovan Solano, 0 for 3, was one of the hottest hitters for about a month right before the All-Star break, but his timing doesn't look amazing. He's a guy who we rode the hot streak. When do we see the next one? Our platoon bats, I think, are a huge storyline for us the second half of the season, especially because I know the idea is that you bring in some big bats at the deadline, and it always is, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's not that much coming. But I am happy with what we have here, and I feel confident in the way that the team is currently constructed. I like the way I think we have a good balance in our lineup. You need table setters with a great eye, but you need bottom of the lineup guys who are just going to get the pitch count up. And you need guys in the middle who can punish all different types of pitches in different ways. You can't just have the same guy out there. If you were building a room of cornerbacks in football, you want some really, really lengthy and fast corners, but you also want some that might be, a little shorter, little slower, but also just the absolute tackling, like the run support specialists, the guys who are just dogs, just super physical, super hard on the, super tough and, getting low and flying around to make plays in the run game as well. And that's kind of how I see this lineup right now, is that Ben Williamson is like the slot corner, and Cole Young is like the nickel safety. I think those guys might be two of the most underrated players on the Mariners right now. I know there's, it's hard to say because everybody does well, the top guys deserve the credit they get, but Cole Young and Ben Williamson, I'm going to say, even in a night like tonight, because Cole Young, providing some offense here that, would have been enough to tie us the game. But he just gets on base so much right now, and his approach is fun to watch. Also, Julio walking twice, he does strike out twice. Player of the game, I feel like has to be Mitch Garver, going 2 for 4, hitting the homer. But then, Cal stealing the base. Everybody came in and contributed. I can't go down this lineup and say one guy that did not contribute. Even Demo, may have gone 0 for 3, struck out. He's played a pretty good right field. And when he waved, when he waved Cole Young off, Cole Young was backing up, almost had a mistake there. But Demo, being the veteran presence he is, waved Cole Young off. Some great defense. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Cal Raleigh, just the agility where he had to adjust kind of backwards, taking this step back to catch a foul ball right behind the plate. That was just insanely agile to see for a guy, again, nicknamed the Big Dumper, as well as, Ben Williamson. Just an insane night for Ben Williamson on the defensive side. One play in particular, he just scoops it up, fires it. And, Ben Williamson should be getting some outs above average because that guy is a monster with this glove. And then Luis getting hard hit 6 times on 100 pitches, only getting 9 swing and miss on 100 pitches, 7 strikeouts, to just 3 hits, 2 walks, shutout for 6.2 innings. The main thing is that, it's just hard to tell what he's doing well. So at this point, I have no choice but to call him, a really good pitchability guy. But that's going to do it for tonight's game. It is insanely hot here in Seattle still. Finally hoping it's going to cool down. It'll be great for our pitching, but our offense can use the heat. We're going to be covering it all weekend long. Tomorrow, Coug Day, go Cougs. Shout out to all my Cougs out there. And I will see you guys to recap it tomorrow night. Go M's.